then when I was 21, I start getting more into Greek and Aramaic and Hebrew, and I kept hearing about this guy. As a matter of fact, I was in a Course in Miracles study group down in Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, and somebody said to me, Michael Ryce is coming to town. I'm like, oh, really? Good. Okay. They're like, he does the Aramaic. And I'm like, what, like Macarena or something, does the Aramaic. Funny thing that at that age, as deep as I was into the Bible, I didn't know what Aramaic was. And I'm like, well, what's Aramaic? And they're like, well, that's the language Jesus spoke. And I went, he didn't speak English? And everybody laughing at me, People don't think about that, believe it or not. And then I said Arabic, right? And they're like, no, Aramaic. And I went, Aromatic? And they're like, yeah, it means he smells really good. So anyway, here I end up in Clearwater, Florida, at a workshop called Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And literally by the first break, I was like literally sitting on my hands. My eyes are gushing tears. My heart's beating out of my chest. I'm laughing. I'm crying. And I walked up to him, and I still remember that look that he gives, he gave me the look. It was a different kind of a look. And he said, what's happening? He said, it looks like I could peel you off the ceiling right now. And I said, whatever you've got, I want it all. And I ended up at Heartland. And what happened at Heartland is I didn't get deep into the actual language. That came later. What I got deep into was the experience. And I got deep into the actual Aramaic process of forgiveness that's been so misunderstood in the last 2,000 years. You ever play Pass the Secret? You know, you're in kindergarten, and on this end, it's like the boy in the green shirt fell into a hole, and over here, the elephant walked sideways while he was, it makes no sense to what's over here. Imagine that in 2,000 years. So I got really deep into that, and then from there, I started getting really deep into the language itself, into the texts themselves, and translations, and I'll talk a little bit later about things like X-ray copies of Bibles, where you can actually see if ink soaked through from the other side of the page and lands in just the right spot to change either the phonetic marking or the letter itself, which can change the meaning completely. Yeah, it happens more than you'd realize. But the thing that happened in 1995 was I got the base. My heart was opened up by what Michael was teaching, mostly because of the actual forgiveness process, which of course we'll probably touch on, I'm sure, in the next two nights.
We will.
But it changed everything for me. And I've seen over the last 20 years, I've seen a lot of people, I've seen Michael's work, he won't say it, I'll say it, borrowed by a lot of people and then twisted because they didn't really put it into practice and understand it. And then they'll kind of repackage it in a different variety that's more palatable for the masses. When it comes to integrity, I know of no person who's out there teaching that, number one, walks it more than him or has the integrity and will literally take responsibility right in the present moment for anything that he on some level didn't realize, was happening. He'll eat it right there in front of you. So that's a huge, 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 I want to say mentor, but it's like we're brothers, and it's like it's this egoless relationship. So I want